rise one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Shout out D on the track, Paint Music Media. Shout out DJ Lee Productions, and I'm Al Ken. But if you a game changer, got my head, my grind don't hide. Win, lose, or draw, I'ma ride till I die. I go hard in that lane. My God is the aim. Put me in, coach, and watch me change the game. Cause I'm a game changer. 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 I'm full court press. I pledge allegiance to the best. Ain't nothing left to give it that reverence that the Father gets. So every day I work the sweat, can get a flesh, another rest. They say go hard or go home. I say just do whatever's best. It's evident I'm blessed and I work like it. Fight like a Viking. Fight like a lichen. The difference is I like it, so I shine like I'm lightning. So I'm going head to head with certain depth. Who you liking? Yeah. So it's time for coach to put me in. I'm strapping on my shoulder pads, lacing up my cleats, and then I'm gone with the wind. Like I'm gone in 60 seconds. You can't hold me, you can't check me. Check the memo, check the message running through. Like I'm bad as I'm trucking whoever standing in my way. Ain't no way you gon' stop me. You better off to let me in. Cause I go hard, even though they say no way that I could win. Like I'm Brett Ford, I'ma ride this way. My head is in the sky. My grind don't hide. Win, lose, or draw, I'ma ride till I die. I go hard in that lane. My God is the aim. Put me in, coach, and watch me change the game. Cause I'm a game changer. 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 Yeah, I told you once before, my God came to change the game. Different outlook on to life, a different way to play the lane. Now my rushing yours is skyrocketing. Now I'm so insane. For the kingdom building, now my shot it cannot be contained. So I'm gon' pray for change for myself and then what I can. I don't need no euro.
This is Khadevis Robinson, and welcome to the Khadevis Robinson Challenge. Today, my challenge is for everyone, in this time of uncertainty, be certain in yourself. You see, right now, around the world, no matter where you're at, no matter if you're in the U.S., no matter if you're in Canada, no matter if you're in South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica, it doesn't matter what continent you're on. It doesn't matter where you're at. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. And the uncertainty is pretty much for everyone because we don't know how things are going to be. Meaning, whenever I talk to anyone for the past 3 or 4 months, and I ask my family and friends how they're doing and how things are going, the response typically goes, it's going all right, but just trying to keep my head above water and trying to survive and waiting for things to get back to normal. And I'm always at a pause at that point because I'm thinking things may not never get back to normal. And when I say normal, I mean the old normal. You see, it's been coming for a while, meaning the transition's been coming for a while. We've seen it build up, and it's built up pretty slowly. But I think now if we were to step back and really evaluate and look, we could see that some of the things, not just with COVID and this pandemic, but just with the way the world has been, shall I say, evolving. Just the way that it's been becoming more global, it's becoming more international, becoming more diverse. The workforce in and of itself has become more challenging in a sense because it's more global. You know, the requirements that it takes to get certain jobs is a bit more tough because it's more competitive. So everything's been a bit of a challenge, I guess you would say, in the sense of how things are going. It's going from more of a technological world. I'm thinking about the other night I was at a Walmart, and it was kind of late. I guess it was after 10, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a robot, like a robot cleaner, like a floor cleaner, and the floor cleaner was cleaning itself. And I was thinking, man, that's pretty impressive. But on the other end, that's a job that's taken away from somebody. You see, there's a lot of things that technology and IE and all those types of things have replaced human beings. You see, there's a quote that said, the learners will inherit the earth, while the learned will find themselves beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. Again, the learners, the people that continue to learn, the people that continues to gravitate and evolve and see the world for what it truly is, the learners will inherit the earth, meaning the learners are people that continue to see the world for what it is and learn from it and move with it and move forward and inherit the earth, while the learned will find themselves beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. In other words, the learned will find themselves obsolete because they learned, which is great, but they didn't change with the times. Instead, we have a lot of individuals, people, companies, and all that's fighting the change that's coming. Now, I get it. There's some changes in which may not be a productive change, may not be a healthy change, may not be a moral change, and we're fighting those. And that's fine. But there are certain changes we know coming. I had a friend that was talking about his relationship or his marriage, and he was telling about how his wife at the time was making more money than him, and he was like, well, I don't think, I don't want a woman, make more money than me and this and that. And I said, I get it. I understand that it's a man's, I guess you would say, job to be the breadwinner in a sense, or a man wants to be the breadwinner. He wants to be the one that's providing, or making the most money and all those types of things. But I said, now check this out. I get it, and I'm there with you, but just know, A, there's more women in the world than men. B, women live longer than men. C, there's more women in college than men. And so you start putting all those factors together. More women in the world, women living longer, more women in college than men. And we're not even going to talk about there's less women in prisons and jails than men and all those types of things. But just those three things, and you got to know that there's going to come a time, and it's coming. It's already started. You see, the president or prime minister over in Germany is a female. New Zealand has a female. The U.S. is eventually going to have a female president. It's going to come. It's going to happen. And instead of being shocked and fighting these things, why don't we embrace it? Why don't we embrace it for what it really is? And what it really is just evolution. It's just humans are evolving. The world is evolving. And we can either fight the evolution or we can roll with it. Now, the evolving, the diversity, the changes, all those things can be, the blow of all those things can be lessened if we recognize them and say, okay, listen, here's the deal. The job market's going to be more competitive, right? Everything's going to be, speaking more than one language is probably going to be a plus. There's going to be more female in the workplace. Some of the things that used to happen in the past, or some of the things that was allowed in the past, may not be allowed now. It's a quote that Les Brown always says that he attributes to Einstein. It says, the thinking that has gotten me to this point has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And what that means is, there's been ways in which many of us have done things, and in doing them those ways, it has created some problems. And we're not going to solve those problems with the same thinking that got us there. We're looking at now, and it's the Me Too movement, and a lot of the men are saying, well, it's just it's just boys talk, or it's just that's the way I was raised. Well, those days are over, man. No matter if you was raised that way, no matter if you saw the people doing it, no matter if it's your boys club, whatever that is, just understand we've come to a point where those types of behaviors is no longer accepted. It's the same thing we look at any other forms of discrimination or prejudices or whatever those things may be. So in a time of uncertainty, be certain in yourself. So how do you do that? How do you become certain in yourself in a time of uncertainty? Well, you got to know what you stand for. You got to know who you are and what you stand for. And on top of that, you got to know your why. I'm going to always come back to that. So what I mean by this, why? Why are you here? Well, I don't mean why are you here in the city you're in, or why you live in the neighborhood you live in, or why you go to school you go to, but why? Do you feel like there's a purpose for your life besides just merely existing and surviving? If you do, then evaluate that. And if you don't, that's fine. But you can answer that question why? And again, who are you? Not just your name. We all know our name, but who are you? There's certain things that the answer will always be yes, and certain things the answer will always be no. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain things, no matter what, you're like against that. Or there's certain things that no matter what, I'm for that. It's like, are you for increasing, and it's just an example, taxes by a smaller percentage to help, feed the homeless? I mean, yeah, so you might know that you are a person that's fairly liberal. Or vice versa, you might be a person that says, I don't believe that certain things should be taught in school. But whatever it is, this is not to judge the right or wrong of who you are. It's just know who you are. Be certain on who you are, And then also, like I said, know your why. Be certain on who you are, and be certain on, what direction you want to go in. You might not have to necessarily know the actual final place per se, but you do need to kind of know, are you there? Meaning, okay, if just said where you're at now, maybe the city you're in, maybe the job you're at, the spouse you're with, the kids you have, if you want more kids, if you don't, is this where you want to raise them, in this neighborhood, in these schools? You're happy with, if you're a spiritual person or a person that goes to churches, if you're happy with your church family, or, you're close enough to family and friends that you have a life outside of just working, all those types of things. And once you have those types of things in place, then you have a little bit of certainty. So in a world, in a time of uncertainty, be certain in yourself. And if those things are not there, if they're not clear, then get a coach. Get a mentor, get a coach. And this is the hardest part, because a lot of people, myself included, sometimes feel like, well, I don't know, can they really help me, right? Or do I really need that type of help, and, can I afford it, or whatever the situation may be? And I'm telling you, the best example I've seen in the past couple of weeks was that they was talking about the book, and in the book, Kobe Bryant was talking about how Phil Jackson wasn't his preference. He preferred someone else, not Phil Jackson. But without Phil Jackson, he realized a couple of things. He realized that he couldn't accomplish the goals that he wanted to accomplish in the way that he wanted to accomplish them without that coach. You see, a lot of us are not accomplishing the goals we want to accomplish in life, whether it's in our work life, or whether it's in our private life, our relationships, whether it's in our spiritual life, mental capabilities. No matter what it is, some of us are not reaching our goals because our preference is not to get help. Our preference is not to seek help. Our preference is not to be vulnerable. Our preference is not to share that with people. Our preference is to put on a mask. Our preference is to act like everything's fine. Our preference is to blame people. But sometimes we have to understand that, there are people that the beauty of the world is most of the things that we want or might seek to do, the odds are someone else has done it or been through it. And a lot of those individuals have some valuable information and some valuable advice they can share with us. Now, we have to understand in this time and this day and age, sometimes this valuable information, it costs money, or it costs that you have to pay for it. If you're not paying through money, you might have to pay through some other form. And I say that because you know, if you're going to someone who's massively successful, they're busy also. And so a lot of individuals on that level, it's so important that you have to put some in there. I can't emphasize this enough because I've struggled with this myself. I struggle with it on my website. I struggle with it with just getting information, like the little tips and secrets that you once you get it, you're like, oh crap, no wonder. I've been going about it all wrong. You know, it's like a person looking for a job and they're putting in all these applications in this certain industry, and they find out, man, you know, you can put the application in the industry, you have to put one in, but really the way people get hired is through connections. You're better off meeting someone, talking to them face to face, knowing someone through knowing them, and then going. Because I'll tell you like this: when the posting comes up, there's 1,000 people applying, and usually because of 1,000 people applying, the person that's actually going to view those resumes or CVs or whatever, or you know, cover letters, already then got tipped off of 4 or 5 people they need to really kind of look at. And it saves them time and energy of having to go through 100, 200, 1,000 resumes. Now, we might not want to believe it's that way. We might want to think, okay, well, I put my resume in, I'm highly qualified, and this person's actually going to look at all 200, especially now, these days, all 200 of these resumes and see that I got this qualification now. But that could happen, but what's the odds? The odds are when they see they got 100 and some resumes in there, they're probably going to do what I would do and what you would do. Say, God, dog, let me see. And they probably start asking somebody, hey, man, you know, I know you're in this, you know, do you know anybody that might, or what do you think? And then they're going to go that route. But my point is you won't know that until you, or they might say, man, you know what, it's better to do, you know, hire a headhunting group or, you know, a company that specializes in doing it. And then that company, you know, looks at the people that they have that's on, you know, in their base, you know, community base or database. Now, you know, we want to, you know, is that the, you know, proper way or best way? I don't know, but I'm just saying that's where the world's at now. A lot of the people are not beating you or beating us, or not, a lot of people are not getting ahead just because they're just that much smarter and better than you or work that much harder. They just understand the game. You're making it. It's like you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you don't have to figure out how to make sliced bread again. It's been made, you know. But what you do need to figure out is, you know, what's the. To give you a story, when I first moved to Ohio, you know, I'm used to living in warm weather, and I moved to Ohio. And I'm at a football game, and I you know, I packed on some clothes and socks and all that type of stuff, and so I thought I was gonna be fine. But I'm sitting in this cold weather, and I'm freezing, and I'm sitting at the game. I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, man, I know everybody gotta be freezing. I'm like, you guys ain't cold? They're like, yeah, that's all right, we can handle it. I'm like, for real? They were like, yeah. I said, but you know, my legs and my arms and stuff is cool. My body's cool, but man, I tell you, my toes and my fingers and my toes are frozen. And I got on 2 or 3. They said, oh, you gotta have the little things in there. And I said, what do you mean? And another person, because they said, you know, the little things you squeeze and they get warm. I say, squeeze and get warm? I mean, what do you mean? And they's like, oh, I got something. Everybody had them. I mean, literally, everybody had these little things. You open them up and you slide them a couple of times and spin them around, and they keep it warm. It gets warm. And people was putting them in their hands, on their gloves, and putting them in their boots and their shoes. I had no clue. I'm sitting there freezing, toes frozen. That's a long example, but it's the same with life, or vice versa. I was going cross country weeks, and I go places, and I hate for my feet to get wet, and they're going to get wet, but then I don't even want my socks to get all sweaty and your shoes smell. But there's actually a thing you can put over your shoes that keeps them from getting wet and soaking. You can just put your shoe in them and wrap it over, and then when you finish, you just take that little thing off, and it keeps your shoes from getting wet. Now, I say that to say that, you know, here I am going through 2 and 3 different pairs of shoes, and shoes getting, you know, all soggy and they smelly, and you know, and all I had to do was really say, hey man, you know, what you guys done? Shoes don't get on. You got, where you get them? You get them on? They cost. And then instead of me, you got nothing. No, forget the free stuff. Just go buy them. It's going to save you time and energy. So in a time of uncertainty, be certain in yourself. But in one way to be certain in yourself is by really asking help for others. So as right now, as we keep hearing all the information that's coming up about how many people lost their jobs and and high unemployment is whatever, and, the stimulus package and all these different things, try not to let all of that get to you too much. Try to really sit back and have confidence and faith in you. I tell my athletes, but I also tell people I mentor. I had to tell one today. I say, listen, man, you're struggling, and I can see you have some doubts and some fears and concerns, and your confidence is down. But I'm going to tell you something. Like I told you when you was one of my athletes, borrow my belief in you until your belief kicks in. And once your belief kicks in, then you're good. In these times of uncertainty, please be certain in yourself. This is Khadevis Robinson. This has been the Khadevis Robinson Challenge. Holla.
Our Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses. Forgive us the trespasses. In Jesus' name, amen.
Bring it. My life's back on track, I'm feeling good. Matter of fact, the Holy Spirit got him jumping. I don't know how to act. A sanctified Christian on a mission, God bless it. Watch the music, got him dancing, two-stepping, church session. In the name of Jesus, we give God the glory. The book of Ephesians, Paul tells the story. How Jews and the Gentiles sharing God's promise. Peace in the Middle East, today is soon coming. I pray for more peace in the streets where we live. I pray for the day I live to see my grandkids. I pray for the day they stop the violence in the hood. From the west to the east, let me tell you what's good. The church is off the chain when we praise in God's name. God's Holy Spirit takes away all the pain. So much persecution, saints suffer retribution. I pray for my people locked in prison institutions. Every day I pray. I pray. Every day I pray. I pray. Every day I pray. Every day I pray. To my heavenly Father, I pray for the lost to be found. Please bring her back home. Jehovah got a strong shoulder you can lean on. When your life is in the bind and you don't know what to do, call upon the name of Jesus. His power is the truth. I pray for those of you who don't know how to read or write. I pray for those of you who still don't know Jesus Christ. We live and we learn experience the best teacher. Put the church first, listen close to the preacher. The word of God will teach you how to live and prosper. Stay away from foolishness, evil slick monsters, lawyers and executives up to no good. I pray for God's will like the Bible says I should. On the right path, the apostle preaching gospel. God's Holy Spirit makes all things possible. Jonah and the whale was far from a fairy tale. Paul preached to the people from inside a jail cell. Every day I pray. Every day I pray. Everybody stand up. I pray. And give me praise. Every day I pray. Come on. Every day I pray. Everybody stand up. I pray. And give him praise. Rejoice to the music that you hear in your ear. Worship Jesus Christ, make Satan stand clear. Saints have no fear. Jesus Christ has a plan. Anointed, yes I am. I'm a gospel rapping man. I pray to the Lord to let me rap for His glory. To tell the whole world the many things He's done for me. Every day God's good. Look at how I'm living. Blessed with the best of everything God's given. My wife, my kids, my life, my home. Thank God every day for blessing me to write songs. Reach the people, bring His message, spread His word like a plague. Found the sheep who ran away, lost in the hurricane. We still cleaning up the mess Katrina blew down. I pray for the missing people that ain't been found. Earthquakes and devastation, worldwide news. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing us through. Every day I pray. Every day I pray. Come on, stand up. Every day I pray. Everybody, stand up. Every day I pray. Give Him praise. Come on, stand up. We're doing it again. We're spreading all over the world. Chill, just like it's a play. The Holy every day I pray.
Our Heavenly Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass.